Hello beautiful people, thank you for joining me today on another video for Improvement Gang. Okay, today we're gonna go over through how to not take things so personally, right? I'm gonna show you a 3-step process for you to calm down yourself and really turn your disadvantage, you taking things personally, into an advantage. Okay, so don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if I was able to earn that for you. In that case, let's get into the meat of the subject. Okay, so before we go into the steps, I do have to say, again, we have to go back to addressing the deeper issue, right? So why in the first place do we even need to not take things personally, right? Why on earth do we need to not take things personally? Well, for three main reasons, right? One of them is a big one, and that is that when you take things too personal, you're giving, too much power to the person that you took that thing too personal from, right? You're giving them too much power. First thing. Second thing is that when you take things too personal, you become blind. You become blind of your sense of identity, right? You become blind because they said something does not mean that you should take it too personal. Why? Because they don't have this full picture, the full, understanding of you as a person and who you really are, right? And the last thing is very simple. When you, when you just take things too personal, what happens is that you're just being controlled by your emotions. You're being controlled by the fight or flight, right? Okay, so those are the three main reasons. So why on earth, doesn't matter. When they're pretty self-explanatory, right? You do not want to, give someone too much power of, your personal belief of who you are. That's just never good. You do not want to be in control of someone else. It is your life, and you need to take control of that life. Okay? Second thing again, or third thing, let's go back to the second thing. Third thing, you cannot be controlled by your emotions every time. Emotions are very good, and being emotional isn't bad. But it's the fact, or it's the point that you're being too emotional that is bad, right? That is what the real problem is there. Going back to the second thing, which was what was it? Da, da, da. Oh, that they don't understand the full picture, right? For a good example of this, if someone calls you a loser because they saw you playing, basketball, and you didn't make a single shot that day, they're gonna call you a loser, and you could take that very personal. But what's the problem with that? Well, they don't get to see the fact that the last few games, you scored above 20 points or something. You were the best defensive player, and you were something else. They don't get to see that. They don't have that much data in them because they just saw you this one game and that's all they know. And because of that, they make a bad judgment, but a judgment that you're a loser or you're really bad at this certain sport, right? Now, you accepting that as a truth is just giving them too much power, and it's telling you that your past games. It's telling yourself that the past games are just not good enough or something, that the one thing that you did trumps out all the good things that you have performed, right? So you just have to understand where they're coming from, right? So how do we finally get to the 3 steps, right? First step is going to be to take yourself out from that fight or flight response. So basically calm you down. We need to calm you down. That is the first step in any situation after you start to take things a little too personal, right? For instance, you don't want to take things personal, but here we go. Okay, a good way to calm yourself is just simply by breathing, right? Simply by breathing. So, you start to feel that tension, that fight or flight. You want to reset yourself by breathing slowly. Just that's what it is. Just breathing slowly. Just breathe more slow, right? So relax yourself. Really relax yourself when you do this, okay? At the same time, when you're relaxing yourself through your slower breath, what I want you to remember is that you have to take away the shame of this, right? You have to destigmatize this, meaning you have to understand that at this very moment, many people have been told that they're, whatever, like they're a loser, for example. Many people have been told they're a loser. Very hardly has anyone not been called a loser once in a lifetime, right? Very hardly, a very small percentage of people. In fact, the people that you admire have probably been called losers too. So you just have to take that pressure off and redistribute it and say, and not think that there is something inherently wrong with you, right? So that's the first thing. Calm yourself down. Take yourself away from the fight or flight response. You keep if you keep yourself in it, you keep yourself in this fight or flight response. What's gonna happen? You're gonna start arguing. You're gonna ruin your day. You're gonna ruin maybe the other person's days. They probably didn't even mean to, say something bad towards you, and you took it the wrong way, and now you're both ruined. Now you have to apologize to each other just to get back. So it's never really good to be too emotional, right? Too emotional just means lack of control. It's really good to be emotional. Don't get me wrong again, right? But you have to understand that sometimes emotions are not very effective at taking control over you. They're not going to make really good decisions in the long run. Okay, so understand that you have to calm yourself down and take yourself from that, high fight or flight response to the lower one, to the lower, more calm nature of you, where you can finally analyze things as they are, right? So that is the second step. You have to analyze what they just said. You have to, put it in three categories, what they said and what their intentions are. If their comment was because they genuinely want to hurt you, you have to assume that. We might never know if they genuinely want to hurt us, but we have to assume to our best ability to that, okay? Well, I think I moved the camera. Okay, so we have to just understand where they're coming from. If they're genuinely trying to hurt us, if, maybe generally they're just trying to, help us, but it just might be a very sensitive subject. Or the last category, maybe they just said something because, that they just said it, and they're really bad communications. They're really bad in communications, in their communication skills. And you just have to understand that not everyone is going to take into consideration other people's feelings when they say things out loud, right? I personally sometimes do that. I say something and I don't take into consideration that what I might say is going to impact and make the other person take other things seriously or very personally, and it just does not turn out good for me, right? So you have to understand, where is that comment coming from? Is it coming from a person that genuinely wants to hurt you, wants to help you, or they're just simply bad communicators, right? So that is the second step, determining the intention and putting it in the one of the third categories. The last thing. What is the last thing? Okay, the last thing is deciding what you're gonna do with the information that best of your ability you try to analyze. So if they're they said something to hurt you, what are you gonna do, right? That's up to you, but I never recommend violence, right? Or I never recommend retaliation, right? A really good way to settle things down with the person is directly ask them, what's your intention of you telling me that? Right? You have to say it firmly and you have to mean it. A lot of the times, people who say comments to hurt you are being petty and passive aggressive, right? But they will never be full on aggression towards you, right? They won't. So when you start to doubt, or when you start to question their true intentions towards their comment, that's when they're going to back down. Most likely they're going to back down. Heck, in fact, the people that generally want to hurt you are very, very, very small. That percentage is very small. So even, let's say that out of that small percentage, they generally want to hurt you, and they're telling you, well, after you questioning their intentions, were like, well, to hurt you, to let you know that you're, stupid or something, that you're a loser. Okay, well, then you have the different actions. Either you remove yourself from the situation, because that's just never a really good environment for you or them, or two, file a report, to your authorities or something like that. Take action if they're really not being cooperative with you, right? Because in the end, we all want peace, because that, produces a healthier society. Okay. Now, two, second category, they generally are trying to help you. For example, if someone, came up to me and they're like, "Hey, man, you should really start going to the gym," you know, or I have to wonder, are they my friends? And if they're my friends, why would they say that? Well, that's the wrong type of thinking, right? You have to understand why they are trying to get you to the gym. Maybe you gain some pounds, and they're just kindly trying to tell you that you should make better health option or choices for you. Go to the gym, eat healthier. You have to understand where they're coming from. Very few are generally trying to hurt you. In fact, some are trying to help you. They're trying to help you, but they know it's a very sensitive subject. So many of them will not come to you for that type of comment, right? So be thankful for the people that will actually tell you to your face and generally tell you, man, you need to change so that you can become a better person. Why? Because that shows that they truly care about you, that they truly want you to get fitter. They want you, truly to become stronger and a better person, right? Now, the third one, bad communication skills. If you know that this person just speaks their mind out loud and they don't take into consideration other feelings, you have to understand that their comment is just not very, meant. There's like no meaning behind it. Not really, right? So you have to understand that, and you have to decide what to do. Again, you can go back and say, "Hey, man, what was that all about? What are you trying to, what are your intentions of you telling me that?" Right? You have to really get down to the meat of it and be direct to them. Now, most of the times we're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. I just," they're gonna start to be like, "Hey, I'm so sorry." Don't. I'm not trying to start something like a fight here. Okay, that's what most people are gonna do. If not, file a report to your authorities. And by this, I mean your boss or the cops or something if it's really bad. So yeah, so that is what I'm. Those are the three steps, right? So first, you have to calm yourself down. Second, you have to analyze what they just said, and third is you have to decide what to do about it, right? So thank you very much, my lovely people. I hope you liked the video. Leave a like, comment, and please subscribe if I was able to earn that. Okay, so have a lovely day. Thank you.